welcome to the cobracast with the President VP. I'm the host, Ricky Rifty, the Pres Logan. Got my co-host and superstar full forward next to me, Ricky VP Dog Etridge.
Mate, we're back. We're actually back for once. We've actually, for the first time in the cobracast 2-year history, we're doing what this was made for.
Yes.
It's taken 2 years, but we're finally here to recap our games of footy.
And what are 2 games it's been?
It's been a good start. It's been a fantastic start for the boys.
Some would say we've set the...
Don't say it. But no, mate, we are. The whole point of when we started this cobracast a couple of years ago was to, after games, sit down once a week or once a fortnight and recap the game, what the happenings at the club, bring up some of the better finds throughout the Thursday nights. But it's never happened. Obviously, COVID the first year. Then last year, I think, trying to work around the COVID restrictions and not knowing if you're playing next week and everything like that just made it a bit difficult. But, mate, 2022, like 100 and whatever episode it is, and we're here.
Yeah, and it has been an odd 2 years with all the COVID stuff, but I think this year you finally get the sense that we're putting that behind us a bit and that, things are sort of normal. Like, you remember at the start of last year, we didn't even get to a game before we were already in a lockdown. We had a lockdown in the pre-season for a couple of weeks. Then we got back to training, but it was always that we know we're biding our time on, we might get 5 games, we might get 10, who knows?
I mean, you look at it like, what happened during the week. One of our players, unfortunately, popped for COVID. Didn't play last week, so that sort of made things a bit easy for us. But it was just like, yep, cool, no dramas, man. Where last year, that would have been just shit, shut the club down, everyone home. Yep. Where this time, again, thankfully he didn't play last week, so he wasn't in the rooms, hot and sweaty with the boys, spreading it around. But that's what happens when you go up to Queensland. You don't wear a mask, I guess. Yeah,
well, that's it. And mate, you might need to stay in shape and keep the skills sharp because AFL they're not stopping for anyone. So
No, I actually had a phone call. I actually had a phone call before from West Coast asking if we're in Melbourne next if I can fill in for them. So
yeah, they're looking for a beard like Josh Kennedy and a boot like Josh Kennedy.
Yeah, I don't think my boot's quite like that at the moment with some of my kicking. But, mate, so first off, new sponsor on board. We haven't mentioned yet.
Yep.
You Build Kitchens, that was called, I believe.
Yes, You Build Kitchens, which is...
based in Bayswater, I believe.
Yeah, they've got a couple branches as well. When we've got the signage up and, they will be going on one of our new... training singlets, but we'll have signage up in the rooms. Obviously, they'll get plenty of posts on our Facebook and stuff, but we think a stalwart of the club in Steve Rowney for coming on board as a sponsor with his business, and it's good to get another sponsor on board supporting us, but it's even better to have a bloke like Steve Rowney back involved in that capacity at the club.
So now, speaking of back involved, mate, bloke that we quite enjoy, back involved at the moment, got our team manager, the Detmans, Wes back just behind the clipboard.
Yeah.
Dicko's not a big fan of him at the moment, but...
Yeah, we did try to rip him off of a goal, but that's, he's got to get back in the groove of things.
Wes's defence, like me and Dicko are pretty similar looking, same amount of hair, same trim figure. Like, it's pretty easy to make that mistake.
Well, yeah, and like I said, he's got to get back in the swing of things. But it is good having the Detmans back at the club. When we announced the scoreboard that was getting named in their honour after they kindly donated the funds to get that scoreboard for us. It was good to see them back down and want to get back involved because without volunteers at clubs, nobody's getting on the park and. Everyone's, at the moment, they're talking about lack of numbers for players, but it's people around clubs. You need volunteers, you need umpires, you need everyone.
Well, speaking of umpires, I seen a post yesterday and it was, I don't remember what league it was, but I think the whole women's competition of a certain league, no umpires because of COVID. They couldn't field umpires for the weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy times still. like we've just said, we are kind of putting COVID behind us, but it is causing other problems because life is going on, but people are still catching COVID. And just like the flu or, all these other seasonal things that happen, it's going to put people out of action. And when you get a cold or a sniffle, people just get on with their lives, go to work, and, most bosses are telling you, freaking get to bloody work or you're in shit. But you say, I've got a positive COVID test, and they say, well, don't come in for a week.
Yeah.
So it's, makes things a little bit more difficult, but it's something that, I think we'd much rather work around it with, having a few less umpires and things available or players or whatever than being locked in our houses and not being able to do anything.
All right, mate. Well, let's move into it. Let's start with our recap of our round 1 games. So we're 2 games in, so we'll be pulling these out sometimes weekly, but majority of the time fortnightly. We just recap the 2 games. So round 1, we took on Keysborough at home. Just
now, backstory.
An absolute cluster to get that game done.
So it was a last-minute change. Unfortunately, with the fixture for us, thirds, we're sort of forgotten about. We do get our fixture, usually a couple weeks before the season starts. Like the other divisions got it, start of the year, whatever. We get ours usually a couple weeks, but this time around we got ours, a week before the start of the season.
Yeah, like 10 days if
that. And then, 3 days out, we get a call saying, we're going to have to switch opponents with you. There's been a last-minute change. Can you host the game? So we were playing away, and our pitch wasn't ready. So,
yeah,
that started causing problems to begin with.
I'm not going to go too hard on it because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, no, it was a nightmare. But thanks to you, mate. Thanks to you and your boys, we managed to make sure the ground was ready to go to play to play Keysy. Unfortunate what happened, but the league worked well. That the switch of game made sense. Like, I'm not going to argue that. The switch of CPL getting the bye, moving Cranny into our spot, considering that Cranny 1s and 2s are playing at Springvale. It was just a few, and on the Thursday at one point we were playing in Caulfield against Keysy, so that was good fun to think, okay, how are we getting punished for... But anyway, so... Yeah,
it was...
it was the league trying to work through it, and when you get curveballs thrown at your last minute, and I'm sure they were dealing with, I know like Springer Districts had a handful of COVID issues throughout the club, so I'm sure they were dealing with issues with that, and clubs going, what about this, what about that, and a lot of other issues happening in different...
What is it now, 39 teams?
Yeah, something like that.
In the league that they're dealing with. It's, there's a lot of moving parts, and, we have enough trouble dealing with 35 players and getting them all on the park at the same time and training together and stuff.
Paying fees.
Yeah,
pay your fees.
Don't even get me started. But, I got bags of sand and I've got the pitch up and going, and, mate, I've still got a boot full of sand. There's sand everywhere. I'm pulling socks out with sand. And
I'll have to bring OJ in the boot, mate. She loves the sand pitch. You can sit there with a little cup and bucket and tip it out.
But, it was, a bit of activity, a bit of drama to get the season started. But once 10 o'clock hit and that siren sounded and the ball was thrown up, it was a great relief to finally be back out there playing.
I said last week after the game, before the game, I had some work to do, so I was doing that while getting ready. It didn't feel, I was just saying, it doesn't really feel like round 1. I think because of the fixture, that just muck around before the game. We didn't have a pracky match. We just had an intra-club that wasn't really an intra-club, didn't really work that well. I was like, it doesn't really feel like the footy's back. And then as soon as like that ball come in and you hit the ball, you're like, footy's back. This is sick. But it's a Keysy, so we ended up pretty comfortable winning in the end. Good team performance. So full-time score was 16-14, 110 to 2-1-13. Best players we had, best on ground was Chipper. Just a general centre-half back. Not much getting past him last week.
No, not at all. And mate, he continued with that form in the following last night. In the next game, he took a few great intercept marks. He's looking a bit like a bloody McGovern down there.
Oh, mate, yeah.
At the moment.
You sit in the rooms with him, and I sat next to him last night, and he looks focused. He's just, I was like, fuck, is this guy all right? Or, then other best players, obviously, Sammy, Peaches, Matt Benny, and then a couple of new blokes to the club, Griffo and Whipper, round out the best. Goal kickers, so Fatters kicked 4, I kicked 3, Benny kicked 2, Griffo got his first goal for the club, Caden, Balfour, Frolls and Peachy all got 1 each, but the big one, mate, probably easily my favourite part of round 1 and be hard to beat. This is the best part of the season, best moment of the season. Old man Killer, a couple of years or 3 years, 4 years after a broken neck, I can pretty much tell he never walk again. Gets out there and kicks 2 goals, mate. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was an amazing moment for him to even just get out on the park, and he himself sort of had no grand illusions of what it was going to be like getting out there, and he was quite nervous and quite, for a bloke that we all know as somebody that just loved the contest and was hard at it, and played his footy that way, and sort of to see him nervous and it's a bit different to what we're used to seeing. But
I think also the fact that I think we played at Springer Districts. He still have been nervous, but I don't think as nervous. But the fact that we're playing at home, his first game back, which was the ground that it happened at, I think definitely wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, but he got it back out there. He's been working bloody hard to get himself right to be able to even run around kicking the footy. Even training was
I remember the first time a couple of years ago, he come down just kicking the ball up and down the ground. It was like, fuck, good on you, man. And then all of a sudden last year, it was talking about wanting to come back and play. And I was like, okay. And then he proved me wrong. So
yeah, no, he definitely did. And yeah, when that first one that snuck out the back and he was able to get onto it and slide it through, I thought, oh, mate, he's got a goal. How good is this? Game's complete. And then, a few minutes later,
takes a grab.
Just runs in front of Fattest and takes a grab, and then dead-eye dick he is.
He was never missing that. He was within 15 metres, and he was never missing that one. But yeah, that was possibly my favourite play. Yeah, it would be hard to beat that as a moment for the season in my eyes.
Yeah, it was bloody fantastic. Just seeing him back out there, and then he was able to get up for round 2, but it'll be something he might get a few more games. He might play out the season. Who knows? But to just see him be able to get back out there and play footy again, and then get to walk off on his own. Yeah. Walk off on his own volition and sit down, have a drink with the boys, because the last time he played footy, he was getting taken away in an ambulance, and he doesn't even remember leaving the ground, let alone anything after that. So yeah, that was like you said, going to be a tough one to beat as a highlight for the season. But yeah, that was round 1. That was an eventful one, but we got through it.
You did. Anything notable from during the week at training? We bring up, throw anybody on the bus? It was a pretty quiet week from what I remember.
Yeah, pretty quiet week. Yeah, I think blokes have got a little bit of false sense of security at the moment because we haven't got the fines going yet, so they haven't seen the slideshows and stuff to start realising, oh shit, they're going to be in trouble when they do stuff up. So I think there'll be some good ones coming.
Something did happen during the week, but we'll get into that after the round 2 recap. So last night we Cheltenham at home, Friday night. Just great night for footy. You're not going to get a better night than that. So round 2, last night against Cheltenham, just perfect Friday night for footy. It was probably the best conditions I reckon we've played on a Friday night there for a while.
Mate, it's been the best conditions we've had there for a while, let alone a game.
Well, no wind, there wasn't a breeze.
I don't think we've had a night of training where it has not fucking blown a gale in some direction, and usually it's swirling around, causing all kinds of havoc. So I was pretty worried Thursday night with how it was blowing that Friday was going to go to shit.
Ended up being a good night on the field. Really a tough, tight tussle in the first 3 quarters. I think the scoreline flattered us a little bit during that third quarter. They had good skills. It was for thirds footy. Shit, it was a night. It was good quality. Just blokes taking on the 45 kicks and hitting targets. But in the end, after a strong second half, we ran out winners 13-13, 91 to 5-5, 35. The goal kickers again, Fat Man with another 4, myself with 4, Sammy with 2, and then Caden and Dicko and Squeaky rounded up the goal kickers.
Benny, didn't he kick one?
No, Benny didn't get one. And then our best on ground was again Sammy. Then Soda, he ended up moving up to that centre half back role. Or was centre back or full back? Did he move to full back, and just nullified their full forward.
Was the master coaching stroke that one?
I'm going to guess you called that one.
Jolly will claim that he did it, but I suggested it because he was going to be the one that had to sacrifice his position. But then it made it seem, let him think it was his idea.
Yeah, you always got to do that with Jolly. Then Joshy, when you're reading out the best, you're like, okay, Sammy, Soda, like Joshy, and then me. Kicked fucking 4. It's an unselfish game from majority of the game, hitting contests, handful of assists, and that was even worse. Faddis isn't even the best. He didn't even do the votes.
Yeah, he purposely he has said for a couple of years now that he doesn't want to do the votes because when he's out there playing, he can't really focus on everyone's game that's going on and make sure everyone
While you're trying to watch what needs to be fixed and what's working well, yeah,
exactly, and then also while trying to play your game and do what you need to do, and then doesn't want to be like, well, I kicked 10 goals and had 35 touches, I should be in the best.
I don't think he'd argue with that one, I guess, but no, people would.
And so, I think he had a pretty reasonable game too, and maybe if there were 7 spots, he might have slipped in. But
then ran him out. Dicko was fantastic all day in that centre half forward line, just worked his ass off as he does. And then Caden rounded him off with that goal he kicked in the last 2 seconds of the third quarter. Geez, that was a morale booster for the boys.
Yeah, and he'd done a lot of great leading, unrewarded efforts and stuff that was opening up spots for you and Fat as well, which often goes unrecognised. It's a hard job for half forward sometimes.
It's one thing I've noticed is that as a forward line group, we're very noticeable of that. Like we were talking about it last night, where we've got exactly the same forward lines we had last year, but everyone's moving everyone's moving in the right spot. Everyone's noticing the unselfish acts blokes are doing by clearing out space or doubling back or laying blocks and getting in the right spot, that it's rewarding. And blokes are getting rewarded for their effort. So me and Fat have kicked a handful of goals each. Tico got one last night. Caden got on the one last night. Benny got on the end of 2 last week. Killer got into 2 last week. So the forwards are getting reward for their effort. It might only be 1 or 2 goals, but we're noticing it very, very well down there.
Yeah, and there was probably, I reckon, 6 to 8 of those goals that were just misses as well. So, you sort of look at the goal kickers and go, Benny didn't get one or whatever, but he had a couple real close misses. You had a couple close misses, and so did Fat. Yeah. So, you could have easily had 6 or 7. Fat could have easily had 6 or 7. And, the score line then is a bit more different. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a tight race for this leading goal kicker between you and Fat if you just keep this up going goal for goal.
The thing is, that's when we've always been at our best, when we're both kicking goals. If we're both, my theory is, mate, if we're both kicking 3 goals each, 4 goals each, 5 goals each, and no one's, he's not kicking 5 or I'm not kicking 5, and the other one's not touching the footy. When we're kicking 8 to 10 goals between the two of us, that's what's going to win as a flag. Not me kicking 6 and Fat doing nothing. You've got 2, I was saying before, when me and Fat get going, when we've got 2 full forwards that are both getting the footy, getting goals, it makes backman's life hard. We become hard to beat.
Yeah, definitely. And with the way Benny and Dicko are also moving around, like that, it's quite a tall forward line, but versatile too. Like there's Benny and Dicko.
Our full forward line is pretty one-dimensional in the fact where if it hits the ground, we're probably not going to get to it. But our half forwards are mobile, they're quick, they're fit, and that's the main thing. They're fit.
Yeah, and I think that's that you need your half forward line to be mobile to be able to get up the ground and do that, but then also doubling back and front and square and stuff. So it's a good mix. Might even snuck forward there for a bit and just applied the pressure. Got it on. I was a little bit spewing. I took a mark.
I was about to bring that up. Actually,
kicked it off to Josh. He ran on. I was waiting for that 1-2. Pop it over the top. I ran into the space, and then he just waited, and I think he might have kicked it to you or somebody else, and I think we ended up in a goal out of it.
That last quarter,
yeah,
that was one where he just completely shanked the kick and went in between me and Squeak, and just thankful Squeak's.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Squeak can pick the ball up. Yep. Which is pretty good. So
yep.
But no, so we started 2-0. So we've got week off now. Well,
yep, Easter weekend.
You'd say we've got a week off, but we've probably got the biggest build up for this week coming. Cobra Bowl.
It's intense.
I told Fat, look, I don't have to work on Tuesday night now, but I probably still won't be at training. I'm just going to get myself in the zone, get my training camp in, just make sure. And when I say training camp, I've just got to drink 15 beers and make sure that I can still play Madden half decent after that many beers.
Yeah. You probably needed to start training a while ago if you were.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Take it serious, but I don't think Cal would put up with you drinking 15 beers and playing Xbox every night.
I can't do that anyway, so I'll be waking up every day very, very sore. But, mate, very hard to have time when you move house and you move into the brand new studios, the office studios.
Yeah, something we didn't mention at the top of the show, but we are in the new Halfback Digital Media Studio.
Yep.
Nice little water feature in the background.
It actually worked out well when we set the table up. And
yeah, it is my first time coming in, driving up, and the boys are all, oh, look at the size of this house. And I'm like, oh, look at this lardy with water feature.
I turned it on purely so you could see it. He's coming, got to my water feature on. Bit of a night time. The lights come up and put in. But no, it's it'll be good. So week off. Then we move into Keezy again. I was going to bring something up that was on the group chat, but I'm just going to leave that one. And then the real test. Saturday morning, home to Sky.
Sky, yeah, they've always been a
not taking anything away from Keezy. Like, we bet him by almost 100 points last week. That means nothing in thirds. I'm fully aware of that. They could come out next week and fucking put us to the sword. But just Sky generally is that one to beat.
Yeah, and they've been pretty much a main rival. Even back when we had 3-4 sides and we were playing thirds, Sky was always a team to beat, or a team that was up there in the mix, always playing finals and stuff. They're a good, strong club throughout their three teams, and I think our first year we actually played them in Division 3 before they then went up and
and credit to them, they've been one of the very, very few clubs that have gone up, have won the flag in Division 3 when it was 3 divisions, and have not dropped back down, have stayed there. So you've got to give credit to a club they haven't gone on to really compete.
They haven't quite got up to.
Yeah, they haven't gone and been like a real shot at winning a Division 2 flag. They've been in the mix for finals, but never been like, okay, they should win it this year. But for a club to be, after 10 years, not drop back down, I think in my whole time, the only club that have won a Division 3 flag that never dropped back down, unfortunately, have now dropped down 2 divisions in Hampton, with the only other.
Yeah,
club.
I think that was my first year was Hampton, and they sort of come from nowhere to win that.
Yeah, they bet Mount Waverley.
Fun fact, mate, I was in class at high school with, kicked 10 goals in that granny to win it.
Oh, wow. Jeez. So, 10 goals in a granny?
Yeah.
Did you get best on ground?
Nah, second best. Nah, I think he got best on. I don't know.
I wouldn't put it past. I get 9 goals one game and somehow finished second best on ground. I was like, what? But But yeah, no, I think them. So there's Sky and Hampton, the only two teams in my time that have gone up that never come back down.
And then you've got
there was another team, but
Springy that's dropped down to Div 3, then
rebuilt,
won it, gone up to Div 2, were on top of Div 2, and have now gone to Div 1.
I do feel for them though. Like they've finally got to Division 1, but they got there without winning the premiership last year, which they should have done. And then we all know what happened the year before with the we all know what happened there. Let's not dive too far into that.
Yeah, but that's, again, a credit to a club who's like, they were sitting on top of the ladder, they were dominating teams and stuff.
Oh, don't get me wrong. They deserve to go to Division 1. I'm just saying, I reckon they would have romped in that premiership last year with a full season, and then any club would sit there and go, we would have rather been holding a cup in the last day in September and then moving in. Yeah,
exactly. Of course, you'd love to do that, but mate, it would have been within their rights to say, no, we want to stay in Division 2 and earn that flag and then go up. But credit to them, they've gone up, and they've got players that are now VFL listed and are on AFL supplement lists. So they've got some bloody talented players playing for that club, and it's going to be an interesting look with a couple of new teams coming to that Division 1 as well. So it's
Look, Cranny's come in, W's come in, W Doves have moved into Division 2. It's a lot of bloody clubs getting around now. So, but yeah, so we've got Sky round 4. We don't have anything. We've got a shadow fix or whatever they're called, but it's nothing official due to the fact that league clubs might be coming in. But mate, we do have a new team, a new club at the club.
Yep. So we've just finally, we've been able to help out a Masters club in the Waverley Warriors. They've been a long time struggling for a home to play their games and train and everything. So
from the sounds of it, mate, they weren't struggling for a ground; they were struggling for people that actually weren't pricks.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, well, like we were just we're in an unfortunate position where we don't have that many players and don't have 3 teams and all that going around. So it meant that we could offer them a home, and it's not going to put any more undue stress on the ground and all that sort of stuff. So Waverley Warriors, they'll be playing fortnightly on Sundays out of our ground. They'll be training there Wednesday nights. So they've got an over 35s and an over 45s. And mate, I did say last night that instead of us starting a juniors to give us players, we're basically the juniors for them now. So, us blokes when we turn 35, well, I'm 30.
We're a club of juniors, so that means about 3/4 are playing illegally then. Not me, I'm still a bloody, The fact that I'm 32 next month and I'm one of the spring chickens at the club, that is concerning. But no, it's good to have them down there. As we spoke about in meetings with them, they were sort of like, we can't offer you anything. But it's like, well, you can offer us people. That's people around club. We're going to organise a few Thursday trainings together, do meals, do team selection for all teams. They were saying they do fines, but I think me and the Bear Trap will just really just take that up a notch and show them what fines really are.
Yeah, I think they'll they might be employing your services to help them with their fines once they see how you and Bear Trap roll.
Yeah, mate, it's no mucking around, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, and I did give Bear Trap the opportunity when you went there on Thursday night to do fines, and he said, no. I've set a standard now. I'm not going back on it. He's not,
Well, it just means that, mate, obviously not this week, but next week, we've got 3 weeks worth of fines to give out. There's going to be some...
And add in the whole pre-season.
Oh, jeez. I might take the week off work. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. We've got some other ideas, Photoshop ideas going around too, so stay tuned. There could be some exciting stuff coming. in the works. Don't worry.
All right, I haven't been told about this, so this is concerning. I'm assuming as soon as we stop recording, he'll tell me, because I'm the one that does all the Photoshop for the club, so I'm going to be told. But yeah, so that's the start of the season, 2-0. Trying to think if there's anything else that we need. Oh, actually, talking about volunteers, I just want to give a big shout out and thanks to Kev O'Byrne, our resident goal umpire. Strolls in with his flags under his arm, just straight behind the goals.
Yep. Kev, Justin just takes up his spot in the timekeeper's box and
doesn't say hi to anybody, just get the timekeeper's box. No, he does. he's not that rude.
He's man focused on his and then, the former Prez, Mr. Obama himself.
He's Trump now, isn't he?
Trump now, yeah. Oh. Yeah, we'll go with Trump. Why not? Phil Dixon just, we needed a runner. So unfortunately, number one runner in the league has done himself a mischief in the off-season and put himself out of action for a while. So
probably shouldn't be standing on the roof of his car to begin with.
Yeah, so shout out Dinger, but hope you're feeling better soon. But yeah,
as long as it's not his beer drinking hand or his betting hand, but he's good.
Yeah, I think he's probably got the boys trained up too.
He probably would. So we are running a thing now on our footy on our socials. Thank you Tuesdays. So every Tuesday we'll put a few posts out just thanking sponsors, volunteers, everyone. But one sponsor I want to thank. So last night, as you know, a couple of pregnant women at the club at the moment, and usually when that happens, you're always happy for the father, son, or the daughter, mother-daughter, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But the other thing that normally comes with that is you really don't give them many options to drink. You have a soft drink, water, or you want a Gatorade, coffee. That's really about it. Thanks to our friends at our Brunswick and Aces, mate. We now have a full shelf in our fridge dedicated not only for the pregnant ladies, but someone like yourself who doesn't drink, people that can't drink that still like the alcoholic flavour. We've got a full shelf of no non-alcoholic beer and XPAs and ciders and everything like that.
Yeah, and it's some deluxe looking shit like craft beer type, pale ale and the apple cider. It's not just, bloody...
we do have the Carlton Zero in there.
But and that's only a fraction of their range and what they've got to offer at their store there in Brunswick Aces online store. They've got a non-alcoholic bar. Which,
mate, I was lucky enough to go to one of the opening nights last year with it, and geez, it was a... Now, you know me, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. I felt too cranberry to be there. It was obviously in Brunswick. It's a little bit out of my my type of style, but lovely venue.
So there's nobody else rocking Jordans and.
I actually wore my Tims there. my nice Tims though, like my nice Tims with my black jeans. So when I'm pulling the Tims out, mate, I'm going somewhere fancy.
Not just to kick someone's ass.
Yeah, no, but most, it was one of those, the boat shoes, ankle basher crowd. But no, great venue, great people at Brunswick Aces. Can't thank them enough for what they've done for us, helping out. We said a couple of years ago, we sort of wanted to lead the way in. Obviously, we're a club that a lot of our boys enjoy beer, but we also want to lead the way in giving options for those people that aren't impartial to an alcoholic beverage, but still like the taste. I'm sure when it comes to dry July, mate, I reckon there's a very, very good chance Dixon might drink that bar dry, those Carlton Zeros.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think, with dry July becoming something that a lot more people are getting behind.
Remember that time I tried it?
Yeah. Mate, I'm glad I only have to deal with you in small doses that month, but, I felt for Kelly.
It lasted, I think, 6 days because it was like, okay, I'm going to do dry July. Baby's due 23rd of July, so I knew and we'll sort of, I think we weren't in lockdown, we just come out of lockdown, so I was a bit like, okay, if I do dry July, it means I can't have too many beers and not be able to drive to the hospital. And then all of a sudden, I think on the 6th day, we got the inkling back into lockdown. We had footy training, so I'm like, I'm having a beer with the boys. Could be the last beer for a couple of weeks. like last me like 6 months. And then, so I had a couple of beers that night, and then 4 or 5 days later, Oakland was born, and that was like, well, fuck, I don't need to. I'm going to be to celebrate, and I don't need to drive anywhere now. So, well, we're good. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't going to be sitting at home by myself in lockdown, sipping on a cup of tea at 9 o'clock at night. That's for damn sure.
Oh, mate,
and I needed something to power me through all those podcasts we're doing.
Yeah, well, that's true. But yeah, we thank Brunswick Aces for coming on board last year, but sticking with this and offering some great products there. Check them out. They got the gin and stuff as well. So the distillery is a big part of what they do. So, you can make you some mocktails with their non-alcoholic gins and things like that. And like I said, Dry July is going to be a great opportunity to explore their range and try some different things at the club. And I think we might have to do a night at the club for,
yeah, absolutely,
some mocktails and things like that.
Absolutely, mate. But best we get this wrapped up due to the fact that there is stuff going on at this house today that we need to wrap this up for. But mate, it's been great to be back in front of the microphone. It's been a while.
Yeah, mate, we've been spending most of our time behind the camera these days. So.
Yeah, halfback digital media, get around it. Really leading the way in social media content for a few clubs nowadays. And
there'll be a lot more to come with that soon. So there's hopefully some more clubs jumping on board and getting behind it and getting some drone footage and game footage and all that sort of stuff. And then, the media days, we've already put out some of our content from our media day, but we've got some more to come with that.
Yeah, a few other clubs that have we're meant to have one this coming week, but that's been postponed. So it's going to be. Yeah, so standing on social media this year is going to be top level. You're going to find it hard to beat in the SFNL. I'll tell you that's for sure.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this or watching this and you need some help with your social media content, digital media stuff, then hit up Halfback Digital Media. So info@halfbackdigitalmedia.com.
No .au. .au bloody costs more, mate. Yeah, right. I don't get that. I'm a global business, mate.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
But no, right, well, we'll see you again probably for about 3 weeks, actually, due to the fact that we haven't got a game this week.
Yeah, so enjoy your Easter.
I mean, you might jump on Tuesday or Saturday morning just raving and ranting about your 5th Cobra Bowl in a row.
It's nothing, It's like Brady. It's just getting another ring, putting on your finger.
If you do that, can you use that? If you win on Friday against Dick on the final, can you use that analogy to explain to him what it feels like? I've seen him after losing. I've seen him give up halfway through a Cobra Ball final before, and then if you just it's just digging in a bit more.
Yeah.
But
it's all right. There's nobody he hates more in this world than Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But
anyway, it is what it is. All right, mate. Well,
thanks for joining us.
We'll see you in a few weeks.
We'll see you when you see it, but yep. Come on, mate. I thought you had this ready. Thank you.